feeling so good.
Hello guys, HL here, coming to you with another World of Warships Blitz video. In today's video, as you can already see from the thumbnail and the title from YouTube, we will be talking about the battleship Roma, which I have just bought about a few weeks ago. This ship is an Italian ship at tier 8, and if you have played the game for a while already, you are probably very aware that many people consider this ship as overpowered. And while I'm going to give my opinion on this ship, it won't be now, so don't forget to watch until the end of the video. I will be talking about the stats of the ship, how I build the ship, and I will be analyzing the playstyle and what are the strengths and weaknesses of Roma. I'm also using a new method to do ship reviews and ship videos. Instead of sitting at home screen, I will let a battle roll in the background so it may be less boring to watch. And I'm also interested to know what you guys think of this new method. Please don't forget to comment down in the comment section down below. Now, let's get into the stats. The Roma has 50,000 hit points, to be exact 50,070, which is about typical for a tier 8 battleship, as the Bismarck has slightly more but still around 50,000 hit points. She has a 15% citadel protection and 15% fire and flooding resistance, as well as 15% of damage reduction, which is, I'm not sure how good it really is, though I feel it's decent and on paper it looks better than ships like Amagi and Bismarck. The main highlight though is that her torpedo damage reduction comes in at 31.8%, which is absurdly high, as even ships like Yamato have 20 something percent. I don't exactly remember what, but still, I don't think there's any ship in the game that currently has more torpedo protection than the Roma, which makes the Roma be able to take torps like a boss, though that doesn't mean you should just be running around and taking torps from stuff like Akizuki and just not dodging, because they will still hurt after a while and the floods will still deal damage, as you do not have stuff to slow down the flood damage. For guns, she has 381mm guns in 3 turrets in a 3x3 configuration, which means she has 9 guns. For reload time, she has a 21.4 seconds or 21 seconds to be shot reload time, which I find is slightly long considering the Bismarck has I think 19 seconds and the Amagi is also below 20 seconds. The long reload time though is not a really bad part, or it doesn't hurt the ship too much, as you have a range of 14.08 kilometers, and if you are running the dispersion mod, your guns will be really accurate, and provided you aim correctly and RNG is in your favor, hitting targets at a long range should not be difficult. The guns also have an absurd amount of penetrating power, as you'll be seeing in my examples. She easily hits citadels on battleships like the North Carolina and Amagi, cruisers like the Cleveland, the Takao, and basically stuff like that will not stand a chance if they are sailing broadside and all your shells hit. Her AP, as you can see, is really great, but her HE is, while it isn't very bad, it's not that great either. But it's still worth noting that you should switch over to HE when dealing with very likely armored targets like destroyers, so you don't get overpants. For secondary guns, she has 12 of the 152mm guns in a 4x3 configuration, with 2 turrets on each side. They have a reload time of 8 seconds and have a range of 6.21 kilometers, which, while her secondaries aren't that great, they aren't poor either. And if you're asking whether it's worth doing a secondary build, I would probably say no, as this is not a brawling ship like the Germans. However, they deal enough damage that shooting at destroyers with them is still able to, you can deal quite a bit of damage, not the level of German ships, but it's enough to still hurt destroyers if they sail around in your secondary range for a long time. Her auto secondaries, she has 12 of them, 6 on each side, they have 90mm caliber, have 6-second reload time and a 4.14km range. While they aren't as accurate as the manual secondaries on the main guns, they will certainly help you a little in some brawls, which you should be really cautious, by the way, as the next point we will be talking about armor. And her armor, well, I think she should be really angled and not sail full broadside, as the armor isn't as good as something like a Bismarck or Torpedes, so she will easily eat lots of penetrations and even citadels if she's going broadside. Her main guns are also really easily taken out, which can be mitigated if you are sailing angled or constantly moving about to prevent the shells hitting you so directly. And if you want to know more about that, don't forget to check out my tips and tricks on battleships video. Moving on, her anti-aircraft guns overall, they are really poor, dealing about 100 damage each, which certainly will not stop aircraft carriers from targeting you. In matches where you are top tier, fighting tier 7 carriers like Hiryu and Ranger, it is not too much of a problem because their planes are not too strong and they won't be dealing too much damage. However though, if you are in a bottom tier match and facing the likes of Essex or Taiho, and they are deciding to target you and they are controlled by a skilled player, most likely you can try to dodge, but you will lose a great bit of health in the process, as tier 9 tops from aircraft hit really hard and even your good torpedo protection will not be able to take that many hits. Don't forget that aircraft can also start fires with their bombers, which will be a pain unless you build for fire protection, though I would strongly advise sailing together with something with strong anti-aircraft guns, like a cruiser, an American cruiser to be exact, or getting your friendly aircraft carrier to put your fighters to defend you, as your anti-aircraft gun weakness is definitely your Achilles heel, causing enemies to target you. Roma's surface detection is about average at 11.1 kilometers, but that probably doesn't matter too much, as you are going to be detected when you are firing your guns anyway. As you can see from the example, I wasn't angled enough and therefore I took a citadel, which just proves to show you need to really angle your ship to be careful and not get citadel. For supplies, I am running improved crew rations, preventive maintenance pack and refined diesel, as the improved crew rations give a better reload time, which I think is very necessary as the main highlight in this ship is her guns. The preventive maintenance pack, if I am not mistaken, it gives the ship more hit points, which is definitely important as you do not have that good of an armor layout. Finally, I picked refined diesel as this ship has a really good speed and I want to build into it further, as the speed is one of her main advantages so that she can outrun or chase down enemies and get into good positions on the map. For equipment, I am running main battery modification 3, which mainly for me it is to improve the dispersion, minimize the maximum dispersion by 7%. Propulsion modification 1, which increases the acceleration by 20% and survivability of acceleration, or rather the engines, by 20%, which means they won't be taken out by stuff like torpedoes and shells so easily. Lastly, I am running the steering gear modification 2, which mainly improves your rudder traverse speed by 15% and decreases your rudder repair time by 25%. So now if you are asking, why am I running this particular equipment group? Well, I would say because I am running the elite gun operator as well. As you can see, the elite gun operator increases main battery reload speed, decreases the main battery reload speed by 3% and increases the turret traverse speed by 7%. This ship, her main, I could say, assets are her guns, so I have decided to build into her guns and her mobility, as she can turn really fast and has good speed as well. By picking the main battery modification 3, I am reducing the maximum dispersion, which makes it even easier to hit targets at long range. Her specialties, or rather I'm not sure what they are called, but I would just call them the ship's skills. She has rapid reload and precise aiming equipment, which I have picked the captain's skill for an extra of each one because they make the ship what she is, as she can easily get 2 salvos in a precise reload time, and if you aim correctly and they slide and land on something like a cruiser, they will hit really hard as her shells are really strong. As you can see in the example now, I'm fighting with Amagi. Not too scared about the Amagi though, as she doesn't have that much of armor, though I'm still taking a lot of hits from her. The Amagi is almost dead. I am basically turning around and waiting for my main guns, and I fire my main guns to take out the Amagi. And there, you can see that this ship is able to brawl, but you should pick your targets carefully and not brawl heavily armored stuff like German battleships or even the tier 8 Soviet battleship, the Lenin. In terms of playstyle, I think this ship you should be really playing very carefully and not be getting into brawls too much, because that is not your main purpose. Shooting heavily angled on rather steeply angled to prevent yourself being hit that much is also very crucial, as you don't want to take citadels. Shooting at, I think, mid to maximum range is also ideal, as your 14.08 km gun range easily outranges most battleships like Amagi, Gascan and Bismarck. And your guns are really accurate, so you can hit them and they will have some trouble hitting you. You also need to be really aware of what is going on in the game and move with your teammates, because Roma is known to be an OP ship and is often targeted by enemies as they want to remove the Roma before she can deal too much damage. While kiting certainly might not be the best on this battleship, as her turrets can't face to back too much, it is still a viable technique if you are in a situation where you need to retreat. In conclusion though, what do I think of the Roma? I find that she is one of the best ships to play at tier 8, or at least from my experience of having like 3 tier 8 ships, because guns take out stuff without problem. She has enough armor to survive most brawls, and by playing her carefully you can get really high damage games. And speaking of which, I haven't had any ship which I have received that many big caliber medals as well as battle stars with. I've also managed to push to Legendary League with this ship quite easily, so you can see just how strong this ship is. And to finally answer the question you have probably been waiting for me to answer, is this ship overpowered? It would strongly depend on how you see it, as I would say. I would say this because if in a pure battleship match where there's no CVs and basically your teammates do not sabotage or rather just potato it and die, you can easily carry the match and take out many ships, and I've even gotten a Kraken on this ship, which just goes to show how good she is. However, her AA is her Achilles heel, or rather I would call it the balancing factor to prevent her getting too strong, so a good aircraft carrier will easily bring her down, or at least prevent her from rushing too much. So, should you buy this ship? I would say if you can spare the money, yes, go for it. You will not regret if you like playing BBs, especially fast BBs, as this thing can run around the map really well. And speaking of which, her speed is about 30 knots, which is, I would say, slow speed for cruiser or fast battleship speed, which means she's able to get around really fast. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel for more content. Don't forget to join my Discord as well, so we can chat and you can recommend ideas directly to me. I will be letting this clip in the background roll until it finishes, so you guys can get to enjoy the Roma, as in enjoy the video of the Roma. That's it, my name's HL, and I'll see you guys next time.
situation is under control.